Hello everyone, my name is Ari Ortega and this is for class POS 294 for Ripley's class Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10:30 a.m. In this debate, I will be arguing that the United States was correct for dropping nuclear bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So, to start off, I wanted to mention how there was dire need for World War II to end. So this was a way for it to end with less amount of casualties than there would have been if the war would have continued. So I'm going to address that later on in the argument. So unless some of you agree that the World War II should have continued, that is my first reason. It was necessary for the World War to end with these nuclear bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Second, the U.S. did not do a surprise attack. Now, yes, Japan did a surprise attack on Pearl Harbor, but that was a military base with boats and submarines. So, they did not do a surprise attack. They actually gave notice to both cities to evacuate and to plead the emperor to stop the war and surrender, pretty much to stop World War II, and they did not listen. So Japan was warned that we had these bombs and they were going to be used. So it wasn't like it was a surprise attack without notice to a civilian area. Now, most people may think that in a civilian area there shouldn't be any war. Like I said, one, they were warned. Two, you cannot say that you cannot attack on civilians because Japan was training their civilians and we're not planning to stop. They were getting ready for an invasion and we're training their civilians. So Japan was willing to sacrifice their civilians for an invasion because they were training them to fight against the U.S. if they were to invade. Like I said, the U.S. did not want to invade to risk American lives and risk Japanese lives more than what would have happened. So these nuclear bombs pretty much were dropped, and that ended the war instead of invading and causing more killing to make the war continue. So that was the second. Three, the emperor was not seeking to end the war. Like I said, he was training his civilians to keep on fighting in the war. So he was willing to let the war keep going on. He wasn't ready to stop the war whatsoever. He wanted to continue the war and risk his civilians. Yes, we attacked on civilian soil in Japan, but like I said, the Japanese, they weren't, how should I put this? They weren't worried about civilian lives since they were training their civilians to attack against the U.S. So these are the reasons why. I'm going to repeat them. The first reason was that they needed to end the war as best they could and with least amount of casualties from both sides. Yes, Japan took most of the casualties, but that was necessary for the war to end. Two, yes, it was on it was on civilians, but one, they were warned, and two, the emperor was willing to risk those civilian lives because he trained them to withstand an attack and was ready to put them in the war. And the emperor was not looking for an end to the war, and this is what ultimately ended the war. So it was necessary for the U.S. to use their bombs.